review of a product to help you recharge your batteries.
Oh yeah, good. I could really use a vacation to recharge the old batteries, so to speak. Love it.
Actually, Keith, this product is the Deltran battery tender 3 amp charger and battery maintainer, designed for like your car batteries. You know, if you have a boat, if you have a four-wheeler, motorcycle, something like that. Not actually going to be a vacation for you.
I don't know. Now I got my brain stuck on this idea of taking a break for a vacation. I'm not sure I can continue. I feel like I want to take a break right now.
Well, maybe coffee would be a good break and a chance to recharge you. Maybe?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take some sips of coffee here and think about this. I think it'll be enough. I will be able to return to the tender. Return to tender. I will do it. I'm sure that this is for the Mustang, though. Is that correct?
You are correct, Keith. This is for the Mustang, and I'm almost feeling like you set me up a little bit. Just so you could work that whole return to tender bit into the deal. But moving along, yes, this battery tender is for the 2015 Mustang GT Convertible that we cleaned along with your Camaro in the Car Care Tech Week. And so this being a convertible and kind of a pleasure car, it doesn't go out in bad weather. So about half the year, it stays in the garage because that's about how much of the year we have of good convertible weather in Nebraska.
No such voltage. No such ohm. Yeah, so I do agree. Car batteries, they don't like to be completely discharged. That's not a good thing. So I love this idea. If you have a car that's in the garage over the winter, to have a battery tender to make sure that, the voltage gets topped off. Kind of like it would normally when you just drive it and are recharging through the alternator.
Oh, good. That coffee seems to have done the trick. Or you had just set me up from the beginning and never really upset about the vacation thing. But again, I said I'd move along, so I'm going to move along. Yes, it's critical that, for the battery health, that you maintain the battery over the course of a long period of time where you're not going to be operating it normally, right? So as you mentioned, the charging system is responsible for topping that off as you go. And so this replaces your charging system when you have your car sitting dormant or not being used for a long period of time. And, one of my big motivations is obviously batteries now have gotten, really expensive. Last time I had to buy a battery, I think was actually for the Mustang. It just spontaneously died on me after driving someplace successfully and gave me no indication that it was, having any kind of problem. So protecting that investment in your battery is a big deal. Not to mention, keeping the battery is healthy as it can be for as long as it can be, because they die, soon enough on their own. You don't need to help that process out.
Okay, cool. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I was pretty sure you already had one of these tenders, or I think some people call them float chargers, right? Didn't you have one before? Isn't that right?
I did, or rather, I do. So I had the battery tender junior, and there were some times where I just felt like maybe it wasn't up to the task of meeting the needs of the Mustang battery. And so I just decided that it might be prudent to upgrade from the battery tender junior to the 3 amp version instead, so that I made sure that the Mustang was getting all it needed over the course of the long winter.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So what you're saying is you upgraded from the junior size to the king size. Isn't that right? I'm curious, did you have to upgrade the cabling as well around that?
That's the nice thing, Keith, is all of the quick connect connectors and cabling for the battery tender junior are the same across the line of battery tenders. So the 3 amp uses the exact same cables I had. So the extension cable I had to go from the battery tender junior quick connect just swapped out with the one for the 3 amp version.
Yeah, that's great. So I know you shot some video of the setup. Let's go through that and talk about our likes and dislikes and do some commentary afterwards.
Those of you that watched our Car Care Tech Week know this car. It is the 2015 Mustang GT Convertible that we did some detailing on. And one thing you may also remember is this car doesn't go out in the winter, or at least it doesn't, whether I mentioned that on the Car Care Tech Week or not. And I have relied on a battery tender junior to make sure that my battery was going to be ready to go when the car was ready to go and the weather was going to cooperate with that endeavor. But, there's been some times over the years where, it just felt like, the battery tender junior was maybe just a little undersized for what I needed. So I decided to upgrade, get the 3 amp one. This will actually do 6 volt or 12 volt. And really has some nice features. There's a 5-year warranty on this. So we're going to upgrade from the battery tender junior to the battery tender. Another benefit is going to be the form factor. So if I hold up the battery tender junior, it is a brick that has to plug directly into the outlet. And so that takes up quite a bit of space on my outlet that I have against the wall for this. Versus if you notice, the battery tender, the 3 amp version, has got basically the guts of it has an extension cord to plug in the cable, and then the cords to actually plug in the charging capability itself. So we are going to swap that out and get this plugged in so that we finish up the rest of winter with the battery tender instead of the battery tender junior. And then that's actually going to give me a spare one that if I need to have a car here an extended period of time, it's not quite as big a deal. I can plug it in. I also have a lawn tractor, and this would give me a backup unit if anything happens to my other one. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in and talk a little bit about the features as I unbox this. And you can see what it comes with. It does come with the alligator clips. I've actually, and I'll bring the camera over and show you this, I had this wired up so that I can connect my battery tender to this whenever I need to. So I don't need the alligator clips that are going to come with this. This connector is actually not capped because I just took off the extension cord for it. But I've actually had it installed to have the a pigtail put on here, and then when I'm not using the battery tender, I'll just cap this off, and this stays permanently connected to the battery. That way, whenever this has to be parked for an extended period of time, I can just readily plug that in under the hood. I don't have to mess with the battery connection at all. All right, I've got it installed where I wanted it. I've got it down on the wall below where my garage organization pieces are. If you notice right here, one of the things I was talking about is just having, kind of that power to keep up over the long haul on the battery tender junior. If that was doing, kind of 100% of the job, so to speak, I should be sitting at fully charged and that light is not on. So that kind of confirms my suspicions that, the battery tender obviously wasn't doing a bad job, the battery tender junior, but I don't know that it was keeping me at that, top charge. And I had some times where, maybe it was a particularly bad winter. I went to go start the car after a very long time of not being able to start it and drive it. And the battery was not in good enough shape to be able to do that. So anyway, this is a peace of mind for me, 3 amps. This should be more than enough to keep this car ready to be roadworthy as soon as the weather permits. So after that, Keith, any questions at all?
Yeah, it all looks pretty simple. I really like the way you set up the cabling and the quick connect, the way you tied it all up so that at the end of the season, it's super easy to just plug it in, and when springtime rolls around and you're ready to take your baby out into the nicer weather, that you could just very quickly disconnect and you're good to go.
Keith, that was definitely the idea. So I love, when the rare opportunity in the winter comes along where we get, kind of an aberrant, 70-degree day or something, that if I want to, I can just quickly unplug the car from the charger, go out, take it for a spin, stop someplace, and it's actually going to start back up again when I'm ready to go. So it just makes it, super streamlined. Spring, winter, that whole thing. It's a very easy process to charge and then remove from the charger and be good to go.
Yeah, that sounds like a huge, peace of mind that you're buying yourself. There's nothing more disappointing when your battery dies. So I can imagine it was worth it, but that's, I guess, the question. How much was this unit? How much did it cost?
Keith, that's a great question. So Amazon currently has the unit for basically $70. And, upgrading from the Junior to the 3-amp version, along with obviously the higher capacity that it comes with. It also has a button to change it to 6 volt or 12 volt. I don't need the 6 volt, at least not right now, but it does have that capability right out of the box. And probably the big thing that I really like, obviously other than the more capability, the 3-amp capability on it, is the fact that it has a battery full indicator. The Junior does not have that. And in the video, you can actually clearly see when I come back and look after setting it all up, that the battery full indicator was not lit, and it was about a 30-minute period of time before it was moving from the battery tender Junior up to the 3-amp version. So that's kind of enlightening. It wasn't that the battery wasn't being charged, but it wasn't being brought all the way up to 100%. And that was one of the reasons I was making the change.
Yeah, well, as you suspected, maybe the Junior just wasn't cutting it, or maybe it was just using a different algorithm, perhaps, for these charging systems. They definitely have software code inside of them. Who knows? But regardless, your instincts were correct, and what can I say? It's good to be the king. So, any last notes?
Yes, so I want to clarify something. So I said that the cable, and I was kind of pointing to the output cable of the battery tender 3-amp version was 12 feet. It's actually the entire reach of both cables is 12 feet. So that is a pretty significant clarification, because as I have my Mustang sitting, I actually need to use an extension cable to go from the battery tender output cable to reach into the Mustang engine compartment. And you'll likely want to do the same thing. I didn't want the body of that battery tender inside of my engine compartment. I want to mount that on the wall and then have an extension cable, which is super easy to plug in, have that plugged into the Mustang itself. So that way it just makes a cleaner install, in my opinion. And we'll link that extension cable in the description, so that if you are going to look at getting a battery tender and you want that extension cord, I'll put the part number in there so you can get it from Amazon.
Yeah, where else but Amazon, right? So I sense you're happy with your upgrade here and would recommend it to our viewers, right?
Keith, I do recommend it. So I think it's a very good unit. I like the additional features I got in that upgrade, especially that battery full light. And I think it's well designed, and it's gonna work well in my environment. The kit comes with both an alligator clamp setup, so you can connect that to the battery terminal. So maybe if you want to connect this to something, other than a vehicle that maybe it's going to be connected to on a regular basis, you could actually use this with a lawn tractor. So maybe in the summer, you want to use a unit like this to charge your lawn battery up when you don't need your convertible or your pleasure car utilizing it. So you've got that flexibility. It also comes with the cable I described in terms of having that connect to the battery terminals and then zip tying in. So that way, if you want to have the use of both, it comes with both in the kit, and you can always buy additional ones of either one of that style. So really, that's I don't have anything bad to say about the unit at all.
Well, yeah, I think we've reached the end of yet another episode, so make sure you hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you're not new to the channel, well, you've already subscribed, so problem solved there. And hit the bell as well.
Huh. Looks like you took care of everything, but left me the ability to say goodbye to everybody. So with that, you'll see Bruce, Keith, and maybe Nessa on the next episode of Dad's Talk Tech.